I'm from Fitchburg, born and raised. I went to Fitchburg High and I went to Fitchburg State, and I'm still living in Fitchburg.
I am from Massachusetts, but I'm not from this part of the state at all. I grew up in Needham, which is like metro Boston area. And I went to Needham High. And then I went to college in Massachusetts also. I went to Tufts University. And before I worked in Fitchburg, I worked for a weekly paper in Danvers. So I've been kind of all over Massachusetts. So I think I was always a big reader, and then like when I was in middle school and high school, I was always really into writing, but I took a journalism class when I was a sophomore in high school, so it was actually pretty early. I was 16, I guess, and I'd always liked writing, but taking that class made me realize that specific type of writing, like news writing and features and columns and all that stuff, that was really a way that you can make a career out of writing. And I liked the idea that that it's informing people and that it's current as opposed to being a novelist or something like that. I could really see that as something, being a reporter as something that I could do. And so from there, I kind of was just like, yep, this is it.
I remember, like, as a kid, my mom always had a camera, and I would always be stealing it from her and taking lots of photos with film. And then my first digital camera was when I was in high school, and we took photos that copied onto 3.5-inch floppy disks. So they were pretty massive compared to, like, the memory cards that we have now. And then I remember when Whalen Park in Lunenburg was torn down, I found these photos online, and they were just so sad and depressing. It was a lot of the rides, and they had been overgrown with ivy and weeds and stuff like that. And I just remember being like really struck by them and how like powerful a photo could be, I guess. And then I went to Fitchburg State, and I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do. I didn't really know if you could easily find a career in photography, but I majored in photography, and I actually did my internship from Fitchburg State with the Sentinel. And I didn't really know I wanted to work for a newspaper at that point, but I didn't know what else I wanted to do, so it was kind of like, yeah, I'll try this out, and it worked out, and I ended up liking it a lot. I think for us, it's mostly just experience in general, getting really comfortable in what you do, and just being out there every day and getting to know people in the community and gaining their trust. I think people tend to be like generally mistrustful of the media, but it's nice to kind of find a way to get to know people and get them to trust you and trust your work and what you do.
The more you do.
So I guess it's not really a specific experience, just kind of the day-to-day getting to know the job.
Yeah, that's definitely true. I would say that sort of related to that, I used to cover Ashburnham, Westminster, and Lancaster for the Sentinel, and I did that for my first like 8 months or something like that of working at the paper. But then the Fitchburg Reporter got another job, and so he left the paper, and they decided to move me up to be the Fitchburg Reporter. And even though I didn't quite feel like I was like totally ready yet, making that jump has made me, I think, like a way better reporter, because it's given me so much more experience in terms of the different types of stories that you're writing about. I also think that my major in college, Tufts doesn't have a journalism major, so I wasn't a journalism major. I also wasn't an English major, because I was kind of sick of writing all the time after AP English in high school. But my major was sociology, which actually I think has made me more successful as a reporter, because sociology, it just sort of like broadens your way of thinking about other people and about society, and it gives you a very open mind and a different way of approaching things, which I think in my day-to-day life as a reporter, when I'm interviewing people and covering things, I sort of have in the back of my mind like all this knowledge from Soch, which I think makes me a better reporter.
I mean, I guess it's pretty different for the both of us. For me, it's all about lenses and cameras and all that technical stuff. Recently, I have a wide lens that I like to use a lot more. Kind of shows more of what's going on within a scene, different than just, I guess, the subject you're shooting. It kind of gives you more of a broad view of what's happening at any given location or event. So that's kind of been my go-to for right now.
My equipment is a lot more basic than Ashley's. I mean, I use my phone all the time, so I guess that's probably like the most vital piece of equipment that I use, just because it's Twitter, which is often in this day and age how we actually break news, is on Twitter. But besides that, I mean, I literally have like a pen and a notebook, and
at all times.
And that's my other most vital piece of equipment, I think. Yeah, at all times, which actually comes in handy outside of work too.
Yeah, I think like Anna said, our phones are really important to us. People might just see us at an event like on our phones and think we're texting or having fun, but we're actually doing work most of the time. We're always on Twitter and Tout and posting photos and videos wherever we are. So we're always kind of keeping people up to date on what's going on and what's breaking, and
or checking Twitter, seeing like what other people are saying, other news outlets, looking at Facebook, looking at discussing Fitchburg. That's
a lot of times we might get a tip that there's an accident or a fire, and the first thing we'll usually do is check Twitter or Facebook to see if anyone else is talking about it and can give us any more information before we head out the door. I think just go for it, I guess. There's a lot of negativity, I guess you would say. A lot of people say that newspapers are kind of a dying industry, but it's always changing. If you ask our boss, Charlie, he'll always say, it's always changing and it's always finding a way to evolve, I guess.
I think that finding what you're passionate about, I mean, we're both pretty young in our careers, sort of like at the beginning of our careers, and I have a lot of friends who are also at the beginning of their careers and who maybe have had like a slightly easier time, less stressful time, or make more money than I do, but their response is always like, well, you love your job, and that makes life a lot better. In a lot
more
of ways.
Enjoyable to go to work every day when you can enjoy your job and go home at the end of the day and feel like you did something good.
Yeah. So I think finding something you're passionate about is really important.